I feel like I say this every week, but I can't believe we're already into week 16 of fantasy hockey. Playoffs is coming just around the corner right now, and you need to be making moves to put yourself in the best possible position to win your playoffs. Now, I know a lot of teams right now are dealing with injury, myself included. In one of my $100 buy-in leagues, I currently have 7 guys on either the IR or IR plus. So hopefully this video can give you an idea of players that you should be looking to add from your free agency to fill in those injuries in the short to medium term that could hopefully give you some value and keep your team afloat moving into playoffs. My name's Mike, and let's jump into the video. This must-have video is going to be a little bit more organized. I'm going to start off with 2 goalies, then jump into 2 forwards, and then end with 2 defensemen that I think you should be adding in fantasy hockey. Now, I feel like this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've recommended Antti Raanta. I've also recommended Kochetkov a few times, but just these goalies cannot stay healthy, and they just have been so hot and cold this season. But for right now, Kochetkov, he's in concussion protocol, and the recent report said that he is currently out indefinitely. So that leaves the door open for Antti Raanta to take over again as the #1 goalie in Carolina, a team that is extremely good analytically, and a team that plays very strong in front of goaltending. The issue that I find sometimes with Carolina is that they just don't allow any shots, and their goaltending will give up 3 on 20 or 3 on 25 shots, and then their save percentage is just completely ruined. But for right now, it seems like Raanta is the only capable goalie left, and he's at just 31% rostered. You can roster a goaltender that's on a team that is arguably top 3 in the entire NHL, and I think moving forward, until we get news on Kochetkov, he should see the bulk of the starts. Now, in 2022, Raanta was extremely good. 26 games started, a 19-3-3 record, a 910 save percentage, and a 223 goals against average. Now, he didn't give you volume starts, but in categories leagues, these are extremely strong numbers. Now, a complete 180 from what we saw this season in 2023 with 16 starts, an 8-6-2 record, an 868 save percentage, and a 336 goals against average, right around the Jack Campbell numbers and Ilya Samsonov numbers that 2 goalies just have struggled a ton this season. But hopefully the numbers that we saw last year can get Raanta back on track to what we want to be seeing this year. Now, Carolina as a team, each and every season, they're just extremely good analytically, and that's the same thing we're seeing this season. A 59.56% Corsi for percentage, first in the NHL, and a 55.70 expected goals for percentage, the 3rd best in the NHL. This team, time and time again, continues to play extremely strong hockey, and you want to be owning goalies that are on very good teams. For right now, I would say Raanta is a must-own goaltender in 12-plus team leagues. If he's available in those 14-plus team leagues, definitely a guy you want to be looking to add. Just for the short term, we don't know the longevity of the Kochetkov injury, but for right now, someone that I definitely want to be rostering. Speaking of teams that have had a goaltending nightmare this season, the New Jersey Devils are one of the worst save percentage and goals against average teams in the entire NHL right now, after finishing as one of the best teams in the league last season. For right now, they seem to be in complete shambles, with Vanacek not playing good hockey, Akira Schmid with a sub 900 goals against save percentage in the minors, and Nico Daws has been called up, a goalie that was called upon last season to play 25 games, and right now he seems to be in line to have the starting role. He has taken over the role as the #1 goalie, and he started 6 of the last 9 games, including the last 3 New Jersey games. Again, for me, I want to be looking at goalies that are just going to get volume on very strong teams. And the New Jersey Devils this season, although not as good as last year, they're still playing very solid hockey. But with Jack Hughes injured, I would proceed with caution with Nico Daws. So since he's been called up, a 3-3 record, a 916 save percentage, and a 271 goals against average, he's facing a lot of volume, but is allowing goals right now. And that is a little bit concerning. But for Daws, and for you as a fantasy manager, if you're desperate for goaltending, you're struggling to find that 3rd or 2nd goaltending, depending how deep your roster are, this is definitely a guy you want to be looking to roster. The New Jersey Devils this season, as I mentioned, have been strong. A 53.69% Corsi for percentage, the 5th best in the NHL, and a 51.22% expected goals for percentage, the 14th best in the NHL. For right now, I would say Daws is a fringe ad in 12-plus team leagues, and definitely someone you want to be trying to roster in those 14-plus team leagues, especially if you're struggling for goalies. For me right now in some of my leagues, I've actually been streaming goalies quite a bit, and Daws is someone that I've been streaming on and off, so that could be a strategy for you as well. but for someone that I think you should be adding right now, he seems to have the #1 role on a New Jersey team who should be strong for the rest of the season. At the time of recording, just 36% of you are subscribed to the channel, so if you've enjoyed the content so far, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all the content that we're going to be pumping out for the rest of the season. In addition, we have updated our projections for the rest of the season. If you're interested in gaining access to that, head on over to our Patreon. The link will be in the description. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment in this video or simply message me on Discord. Let's jump back into the video, guys. Jumping over now to forwards, who better to start with than the man with the jersey right behind me. Thank you, Chris, for getting me that jersey. Sam Bennett is seemingly filling in for Barkov on the top power play unit right now. It seems like each and every season, Barkov can't stay healthy for 70 games. When he's healthy, he's extremely good. But if you're someone like me who owns Barkov in a couple leagues right now and you're looking for someone to fill in that spot, Sam Bennett is definitely your guy. I've been holding Bennett in 2 of my big leagues, the FantasyPuck Atlantic League, which is extremely competitive, and then my $100 buy-in league. And Sam Bennett has been a guy that's been on my roster, and I haven't thought twice about dropping him. So right now, with Barkov injured, Bennett's up to power play 1, which is exactly where you want to see him. Something I hope for going into this season, because in playoffs he was a power play 1, he was extremely good, and he's currently skating line 2 with Makachuk, who seems to be turning his game around, and that will just end up correlating with Bennett's success moving forward. So since December 1st in 21 games, Bennett did struggle with just 4 points in his first 11. He has 14 points, 48 shots on goal, 28 hits, and is skating just under 18 minutes per night. Exactly what you want to see from Bennett. A very strong shot and hit volume mix, but I would like to see those hit numbers eventually match those shot numbers like we saw last season. For right now, the power play 1 time should only be beneficial to Bennett, someone who thrives in offensive opportunities, shooting the puck, getting pucks to the net. That's what you want to be seeing from your players. Last season, the reason why I liked him so much going into this year was his very elite shot and hit volume mix. A 10.56 shots per 60, 33rd best in the league, and an 8.21 hits per 60 rate. This very elite numbers in 2022. They've been down this year, and we want to see him replicate what we've seen in the past since we moved to the Florida Panthers. Right now, Bennett is a must-add in 12+ team leagues. We will get news eventually about Alexander Barkov, but as he continues to be day-to-day and missing time, Sam Bennett seems to be the perfect fill-in. If Barkov does end up going on IR, Bennett will have a very good opportunity to succeed. Jaden Schwartz has finally returned back to the Seattle Kraken lineup after having a very hot start to the season. He was out with an upper body injury, placed on the LTIR, and out for about 6 weeks. And prior to injury, he was skating on the top line and power play 1, playing big minutes in a highly offensive role. That's where you want to see players playing. But for right now, he's line 2, power play 2. And you may be thinking, Mike, why are you telling me to add a guy that's not even on the top power play unit? He's playing on the second line. He's been demoted. Well, this is what I want to say. Pre-injury, this is how good Schwartz was. 23 games played, 8 goals, 15 points, 8 points on the power play, 53 shots on goal, 17 hits, and skating just over 17 minutes per night. And since returning, he's been struggling, but people don't have their eye on him yet, and you want to be buying into players prior to them breaking out or going back to the success that they've seen in the start of the season. So since returning, 5 games played, just 1 goal, 4 points, not shooting the puck with just 6 shots on net, 2 hits, and his minutes are down. But this is a perfect time to buy into a guy who prior to injury was playing in a very high leveraged role at line 1, power play 1, and the Kraken, they're still fighting for a playoff spot. They need their offensive guys to pick it up, and Schwartz is a perfect player to do so. You want to get in early before he begins to heat up. Now for right now, I've added Schwartz in one of my 12-team leagues, something that I would be looking to do depending on the size of your roster and your needs. I like Schwartz quite a bit moving forward. It's just going to be a matter of, will he get that top line? Will he get that top power play unit playing time? And if he does, and you bought in early, you're going to get him before we see that roster percentage hit 30, 40, 50%. Jumping over now to defensemen, I feel like I've been talking about Brock Faber quite a bit recently, and it's going to be the same thing you're going to get with Michael Matheson at the start of the season, where I promised you I would not stop talking about him until that roster percentage hits 60 or 70%. It's going to be the same thing with Brock Faber, because I know he's available in your leagues, and you've been questioning if you should be adding him or not. So news came out, Spurgeon's out for the season, which means Faber is in line to be the #1 defenseman, which he has been over the last 2 months for the Minnesota Wild, who have a very dynamic offense and are in need of a capable #1 defenseman. So Faber's been skating top pair. power play 1. He is in line to be a potential Calder candidate this season for the Minnesota Wild, and his numbers since December 1st has been exceptional. 22 games played. He's averaging 26 minutes and 14 seconds time on ice, 5th best amongst all players in the league. He has 13 points in that time, 9th most amongst all defensemen, 41 shots, 48 blocks, which is 19th and 12th most, and in 5 power play points, which is the 6th most amongst all defensemen. Very strong numbers from Brock Faber, and this is what we should look to see for the rest of the season. He's going to be playing big minutes with a very elite shot and block mix, which gives you a very solid floor, but now add top power play time and hopefully better point production. At the time of recording, it is currently 8:30 p.m. Eastern on January 18th, and Brock Faber has assists tonight. So we're going to start seeing that roster percentage start to skyrocket, and you want to get in early on Faber. He has the upside to be a top 10 to 12 defenseman for the rest of the season, not to mention the upside we want to see from Faber next year. If you're in an 8 or 10 player keeper league, this could be a guy that could end up as a keeper for you going into next season. I would say right now Faber's a must-add defenseman in 10 plus team leagues. Call me crazy, but I love Faber so much for the rest of the season. Finally, to end this video off, a more deeper league style defenseman, Adam Boqvist of the Columbus Blue Jackets, an offensive style defenseman that just really hasn't found his game since being drafted in top 10 to Chicago. With Werenski on the IR, we do know that, and he hasn't skated yet. He hasn't returned back to practice. It seems as though Boqvist has now moved into his role as the pair 1 power play 1 defenseman since himself returning from injury. This Columbus team has been an absolute nightmare. I don't know if I have any Columbus fans that watch Fantasy Puck, but if you do, I'm sorry. It's been a tough season for you so far. Though with Boqvist, since returning from his injury and Werenski's injury, 4 games played, 4 points, 3 points on the power play, 5 shots, 6 blocks, and averaging 21 minutes and 34 seconds time on ice. In his last 2 games, he skated over 22 minutes and then just under 25 minutes per night, and that's where I get very intrigued. Any defenseman that's skating on the top power play unit and playing over 22 minutes per night should be rostered in all fantasy formats. But for Boqvist, he does lack peripherals quite a bit, but he does make up for it for his elite assist and power play point upside. He's having a very good opportunity right now, which should only improve his production moving forward. Good minutes, good opportunity. That's what you want from all your defensemen. Right now, Boqvist, more of a deep league style ad in 14 plus team leagues. I would definitely be looking to roster him. That will do it for the week 16 must add players video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.